welcome. In today's class, we are going to discuss about C functions. C functions are categorized as predefined function and user-defined function. So what is predefined function is the functions which are included in the header files. In studio.h header file, we are including printf scanf function. In math.h header file, square root, power, such functions can be included, and in string.h, getS, putS, strings functions can be included in the header file string.h. User-defined functions are the functions or the programs that are created by the users to perform a specific task. Usually, C functions are characterized with a unique name to perform a specific task, and a function can perform its task without interference from interfering with the other parts of the program. Say for example, if you have a lengthy program and in this lengthy program some part of the program has called often in the program. So in such cases, those lines which are repeated in the program can be written in the form of a function and can be called wherever is required in a program. And here the functions programs are going to return the values. So clearly we can understand only if we take one example program. And C program does not execute the statements in a function until the function is called. In the next slides we are going to see what is the called function, declaring function, and function definition and all. So before we write a program, let us see what are the elements which are required to form a function. The elements are function declaration, function call, and function definition. So these are the three basic elements to write any program in the function. So first we have to declare the function with its name and the parameters. Next, the function call. This function call is written in the main program, and then the function definition, which can be written after the main program. These elements are clearly understood if we write one example. So we'll see what function declaration consists of. Function declaration consists of function type, function name, parameter list, and terminating string. Here is an example with this syntax. I have written the syntax with example. In example, I have written int add int comma int. Here int refers to data type, add refers to the function name, int comma int is nothing but the parameter list. As I have told you, in function declaration there are four parts. The first part is the function type. The function type we have written it as data type, which is int, followed by the function name. The function name I have given as add. Next we have the parameter list, or it is called as arguments. So we have written two arguments or parameters, that is int comma int, and followed by the semicolon. So we have four elements to declare a function. So here you can declare the parameters with its data type, or if you want you can declare the parameters with the help of two variables. Either you can declare a function in this form or you can declare a function in this form. In this form we have declared two variables a and b. Without declaring the variables also you can write the function declaration. The value given in the arguments is directly stored in this int data type. Next we have the function call, and in the main program we are going to declare the variable, and here is one function call statement where we are calling the function whose name is add, and it is holding two data elements which are of the type int, which are called as parameters here. To these two parameters, we are giving the values 10 and 20. These two values are called as arguments, which are passed to the function declaration parameters. Next, function definition. Like how we have function declaration 4 elements, we have 6 elements in function definition. The 6 elements of function definition are its type, name, parameter list, local variable declaration, function statement, and return statement. Next, we'll see one example program, how to write a program using function. Here, the program, as you know, it begins with the header file. Here, the header files included are studio.h and stdlib.h. So, if you're writing the program to perform addition of two numbers using function, either you can write it using function or without using the function, a simple program to add two numbers where you declare two variables and perform sum on those two variables and then display the result. That is one simple procedure. And by using function, how you write the program. As I have told you in the beginning, there are certain set of rules which has to be followed if you are writing the program using function. The first part of the function program includes the function declaration, where you are going to declare the type, the name of the function, the parameters, and the semicolon. Here I have written the data type as int, followed by the function name. The function name is sum, and it has two parameters, int a and int b. So here int a and int b, either you can declare it as int comma int, or you can declare it as int a and int b, as I have told you the option in the previous slides. So this is the statement of function declaration, where you are going to declare the function name followed by its type, its return type, and the parameters and semicolon. Next, the main program begins. So in the main program, as you can see here, so the objective of this program is to add two numbers. To perform two numbers, we required two variables num1 and num2 whose data type is int. To store the result, we require another variable whose data type should be int again. Now accept the two numbers, enter two numbers. So here, by using the scanner function and the format specifiers, we are going to take the value num1 and num2 from the user. From the keyboard, we are going to accept the two numbers. Next, we are going to perform the total. So here we have one statement called as function call. This statement is called as function call. As I have told you, the function call is followed by the function name here. So what is the function name? It is sum. In this name function call, we are going to pass two arguments, that is num1 and num2. The values of num1 and num2 are stored here. And wherever there is a function called sum, that is in the next part of the program, this is called as the function definition here, int sum, int a comma int b. So here what happens, you are calling a function. If you are calling a function, you are calling a function by passing two arguments, that is num1 and num2. Num1 and num2 values will be stored. Num1 value will be stored in a, num2 value will be stored in b, and this is the function. So in this function, what it is going to do, it is going to perform the addition on a and b. As you can see here, the values of num1 and num2 are passed to a and b. What is the operation it is performing here? It is addition operation, and the result is stored in the variable result. So this is the subprogram. Here, this is the subprogram. This subprogram is taking the value from the main program, that is num1 is giving a value to a, num2 is given the value b. and the result is a variable which is used to hold the addition of these two numbers. And here I have written one statement, return result. After adding two numbers, result stored in the result variable is returned. It is returned wherever there is a function call, the result is stored in the variable. You can see here, total value returned by the function is stored in a variable total. So whatever the calculation performed in the subprogram or the function here, that is stored in a variable total, and it is going to print sum of two numbers total. That's it here. So here the output, enter two numbers 6, 7. I have to enter two numbers. Enter two numbers 6 and 7 is stored in num1 and num2. This 6 and 7 are passed as arguments to these parameters int a and int b, and the operation performed on these two numbers are stored in a variable result, and it is returned back to a variable in the main program, and that is printed here as you can see in the output. We have different categories in C functions. The categories are function with arguments and return value. That means the previous program what I have written here, it has the arguments and it has the return value. Function with arguments and no return value. Certain programs we need to perform with arguments, but we are not going to return any result to the main program. We can write the program like that also, where you are accepting the arguments, but you are not going to return any value back to the main program. Function with no arguments and return value. So function with arguments and function with no arguments and return value. Here you are not going to accept any values, but you are going to return the result. Certain programs can be written like that also. Next, function with no arguments and no return value. So here there are no arguments and no return value. Few examples can be written like that also. So in the previous case we have seen, or we have written a program with argument and return value. You can write the programs depending upon the requirement with arguments and no return value, no arguments, return value, no arguments and no return value. Calling functions. This is one category of calling functions. Call by value or pass by value. Call by reference or pass by address. Well, I'll explain you each with the help of example program. First program I have written call by value or pass by value. Call by value means we are calling the program with the help of values. You can see in this program. Hash includes studio.h is the header file. I have written one function declaration here. Void swap int a comma int b. This is the function declaration. The function name is what? Swap. And the return type is what? Or the data type is void. Void means it is not going to accept any returned value. Here int a comma int b, you are declaring two parameters a and b. The main program starts with the variables m and n. Initially we have assigned the m value as 22 and n value as 44. You are going to write one print statement on the output before swapping. Swapping means what? You are exchanging the values of m and n. Before swapping, what is the value of m? It is 22. What is the value of n? It is 44. Those values we are going to print on the output with the help of the printf function and with the help of the format specifiers %d, because you are declaring it as integer m, n are the variables. Swap m, n. Swap is what? It is the function name. The function name, and what are the arguments it is passing? The values which are stored in the variables m, n to the function swap. In the next part we are writing the function declaration, the function definition. The function name is swap. Int a and b are the two arguments or the parameters. The value of m is stored in a and the value of n is stored in b initially. So to swap the values, we require another temporary variable. So we have written a variable declaration int temp. Temp is equal to a. What is the value of m? M is equal to 22, which is stored in a value in a variable a. N is equal to 44, which is stored in the variable b. So here int temp is a temporary variable. A value is what? The value of a is 22. 22 is stored in the variable temp. The value of 44, which is in b, that is stored in a variable a. So first what we are doing, a value is temporarily, it is stored in some temporary variable, and the new value assigned to b is 44. So b is getting a value of initial value of a, that is 22. So with this statements, the values are swapped. So now the new value of a is 44 and new value of b is 22. So in this statement, in this function definition only, we are printing this statement here. We are not going to return any value to the main program. So this is with arguments and no return. Here only we are going to print values after swapping. M is equal to 44 and n is equal to 22. Values before swapping was this, and values after swapping is 44 and 22. So here what we are doing, we are passing the values of m and n into the variables a and b, and then we are exchanging the values of a and b, and those values are printed here. Next, call by reference. In call by reference method, instead of passing the values, we are passing the addresses of the variables. The value of the actual parameter can be modified by formal parameters. Actual parameters means arguments used in function call. Formal parameters means arguments used in function definition. Function call and function definition. So here these are the actual parameters m and n. These are the formal parameters a and b. We'll see the example of call by reference. So in the previous classes you have seen about the pointers, which is used to hold the addresses instead of the values. So here int pointer a, int pointer b. A is a pointer variable now, which is going to hold the address. B is also a pointer variable which is used to hold the address. And here also we are using the return type as void, because the called function is not going to return any value to the calling program. The program begins with int main. As usual, two variables are declared with initial values 22 and 44. Values before swapping, m is what? 22 and n is 44, and we are calling a function here. This is the function declared and this is the function call. What function you are calling? You are calling a function by name swap. And what are the actual parameters you are passing? M and n. The actual values are 22 and 44. These actual values are passed to a program by name swap. This program is written in the next part with where the addresses of m and n are stored. So instead of m and n values, the address of m and n are stored in the variables a and b. So here the addresses are exchanged. As a result, what happens? The exchange in values also takes place. That is called as call by reference. Now here what happens? Instead of values, You are exchange the address. Address of A is stored in a temporary variable. So in that address of A, the address of B will be stored. So if you are declaring a pointer, this refers to the value of B. And in B, what you are doing, whatever the value you have stored in temp, that is assigned to B. So after that, you are going to write one print statement where you are going to print in this addresses what values are stored. The same values before swapping is 22, 44. After swapping it is 44 and 22. So this is about the functions. We have MCQs on functions also. So let us discuss about what are the MCQs of functions. So as you can see in this function part, we have just seen how the functions are declared, what a function is. So it usually requires only three elements: declaration, call and definition. And the examples also we have written. The calling functions types: call by reference, call by value. So it is taking some time to open. So here we have few multiple choice questions on function. Choose correct statement about C functions. There are options given here. The function is a group of C statements which can be reused any number of times. Obviously, you can call function any number of times. Every function has a return type. Every function may or may not return a value. It has a return type. Obviously, if it is not returning any value, it is void. If it has its return type, depending upon the data type, whatever you are using, it is going to return. Next, choose a correct statement about C language. Function name cannot be same as predefined C keyword. Yes, that is true. It should not be. So this is wrong. Function name can start with underscore. No, this is also not correct. Default return type of any function is an integer. Default return type of any function is integer. This is also not correct. A correct statement above. So it is all of the above. All the three statements mentioned are true. So these are the criteria which a function should satisfy. You should not declare a function name which the C keyword has, and it should not start with underscore. It should start with alphabets. Usually either you can give capital letters or you can small letters. Default return type of any function is integer. Need not be. It need not be any only integer. It can be float or it can be char also. So all the above statements mentioned here are correct. So you should keep in mind when you are writing a function. So here there are a few more data types, multiple choice questions. You can go through it. I have mentioned. And in the last, there is one activity for students. So you collect the notes on this chapter and also try to write the programs which are not in your syllabus with related to C functions of unit 1 and 2, and also prepare the high level programming languages. Collect some features of any of the such high level programming languages, like you have C++, data structure, microcontroller. So you can collect some of the features about those high level programming languages, and also the development tool, integrated development tools and their usage. Thank you.